Hello, CCL Sports Cards fans. Welcome back. So as you saw in the thumbnail, what I'm going to be showing to you are my most recent purchases, mostly cards which are orange parallels in Bowman Chrome, numbered to 25. Orange is pretty much my favorite parallel. There'll be a few bonus cards sprinkled in, but mostly it's going to be orange cards. That's the theme we're going with today, and I always enjoy sharing this stuff with you. So thank you very much for watching. We're going to start it off first with one of my favorite underrated prospects. I guess you guys could call him a sleeper. This is Takoya Robbie. He was drafted in obviously 2020 by the Rangers. So underrated. He played at low A last year. He's just 20 years old with an ERA of 2.45. He had a .95 whip. He got 35 strikeouts in 22 innings pitched, and this is a gold wave, numbered 14 of 50. I picked this up at auction for $77. The funny story about Takoya Robbie is when draft first came out, I was doing a lot of random breaks, and I always got the Rangers in random, and I was never hitting the big guys. I was always hitting Takoya Robbie. There'd be no Evan Carter, no Justin Foskey, but lots of Takoya Robbie. So it may sound funny, but I kind of took that as the universe telling me to pick this guy up. So when I saw his gold wave for $77, I couldn't pass it up. And his numbers are just insane. 20 years old. He also pitched an immaculate inning late in the year. You can find that online. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. Just an incredible arm and so underrated. And then next up, we've got a wicked card. If you guys, those of you who are subscribers or fans of this channel, you know I'm a big fan of this guy. This is Jordan Westbrook. His low-numbered parallel stuff never comes up for sale, and there's probably a reason for it. But, seeing this 8 online, I couldn't pass. I've never seen an orange of Jordan Westbrook up for sale. Numbered 18 of 25. Cost me $394. If you haven't heard me talk about Westbrook, he's only 22. He'll be 23 for part of next season. I think his birthday is June. February. So he'll be 23 just before the season starts. I picked this one up at auction again for $394, but at 3 levels last year, starting with low A and then topping out at double A Bowie, Westbrook hit a collective 285 with 15 home runs and 79 RBIs, and his OPS was 868. Absolutely an incredible season. And if you haven't heard me talk about Jordan, I really do believe he has an outside shot of hitting the show with Baltimore in September call-ups, provided he continues to play as well as he did and dominate. I like Jordan Westbrook a lot. And then you've probably heard me talk about this if you're a subscriber of this show. I've got Quinn Priester here. His orange parallel, 14 of 25. Does have a subgrade of 10 on the edges. Quinn Priester, I picked this one up at auction for $470, I believe it was. And if you haven't heard me talk about Quinn Priester, he's only, again, 21. His ERA was 3.04. He had a 124 whip. And he averages about a strikeout per inning. And at just 21 and pitching so well at high A for Greensboro last year, an orange parallel already graded gem of a first rounder in 2019. I think he was the 18th pick for Pittsburgh. Just couldn't pass this up. I like Quinn Priester a lot. And again, his low-numbered parallels don't come up very often. I did see somebody had his red wave up for sale recently. They wanted like $6,000. I'm not going to pay that no matter how much I like a guy. But, if it's a red wave or a superfractor, you can kind of charge what you want. Doesn't mean it'll sell. Next up, we've got Joe Boyle. I've been chasing Austin Hendriks a lot in 2020 Bowman draft. So I got this orange in a break, numbered 18 of 25. I always like those hits. You're chasing one guy, and then you hit the ancillary guys who you're not really after. You pick up some nice cards. And Joe Boyle, he was a starter last year at low A for the Daytona Tortugas. An ERA of 2.29, 41 strikeouts in just 19 innings pitched, and a 117 whip. Picking up this orange in a break was super cool. I probably wouldn't have bought this card, but a lot to like in Joe Boyle. Then next up, another super cheap orange, kind of a value pick. Shane Dragan for the Red Sox, number 20 of 25. I picked this card up for $30. Dragan didn't like shoot the lights out last year at Low A Salem. He averages about a strikeout per inning. His ERA was 3.96 and his WHIP was 1.42. So, really not impressing anybody with the numbers, but a $30 orange. I mean, if this guy has a good season, even though he's a pitcher, you can see 3 to 4x on your money. I just love these value pickups that don't cost a lot, and I know there's a lot of Red Sox fans who enjoy the show. They probably have a little more information about Dragan than I do, but I would say above average numbers, and at $30 for an orange parallel, I don't think you can go wrong. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. It's $30. And next up, we have Asa Lacy. A lot of you are probably familiar with Asa Lacy already. He was the fourth overall pick in 2020. This is his orange parallel, 19 of 25. You guys know I break a fair bit, mostly with Pristine Worldwide. And a friend of mine actually hit an orange auto in the break. And obviously I wanted it. But, as we often do, he wanted $1,500 for the card, which was, in my opinion, too high. And, we couldn't come to an agreement. I think we all do this where we think our cards are worth more than they actually are. And I picked this one up on eBay the same day the deal fell through. I picked this up on eBay for $500. So I saved myself $500. I was pretty happy. And the condition looks fantastic on it. Again, Lacy's just 22. His numbers don't look all that great at, an ERA of 5.19 and 79 Ks. But he was shut down with a shoulder injury last July. So it's really tough to say how much of that had an impact on his pitching. I know in the fall league, he looked really impressive in his start. He had 2 innings pitched, 4 Ks, and only 17 pitches, and said he felt good. That's super encouraging. And again, $500 for a first-round pitcher, I'm okay to pay that. I like Lacy a lot to bounce back. Seems like a confident guy. And again, I'm glad that I only paid $500 instead of $1,000. And our next orange is Daniel Cabrera. This is, again, another one of those value pickups. Daniel Cabrera finished his season at AA. I'll get into that in a second. This is a numbered parallel 5 of 25, Gem Mint 10 by PSA. I picked this up for $399. And again, his season did wrap up at AA, but it didn't go so well at AA Erie. He finished, with a 174 average, 1 walk, 18 strikeouts, 4 home runs in 69 at-bats. So to me, after he was promoted from high A, where his numbers were reasonable, it looks like he was selling out, striking out a ton. Whereas before, his strikeout to walk ratio was far better. Striking out 18 times and having 1 walk and hitting 174. I mean, that tells me he was probably trying too hard. He's just 23 years old. And, a hitter for $399, orange, already graded a 10. Again, if this goes to 0, which I don't think it will, it's not going to break the bank. So I'm happy to have picked this card up, and hopefully, he starts the year at AA and plays a bit better. And he's going to be, I think, 23 through next season. Yeah, so he's got a September birthday. He'll be 23 through most of next September. And then we have, speaking of Austin Hendriks, this is not an orange. I know a couple of people were hoarding all his low-numbered stuff, but I picked this up. Another great deal on eBay, $175 for a purple. I'm going to talk about this more after I finish showing you all the cards, but $175 for this autograph is a tremendous deal. I bought it on eBay, and I'm really enjoying shopping last year's guys right now. I've already redeemed this. It's coming from Topps pretty soon, but $175 purple refractor, not bad. And I'm pretty high on, on Austin Hendriks, if you haven't heard me talk about him before. He's not going to be 21 till later this year, and still lots of time. Love his swing. But lastly, we have Garrett Mitchell, PSA 9, orange, 19 of 25. Probably, I think, actually the best signature in 2020 draft. I just love his autograph. But I picked this card up for $1,100, and again, I'm going to talk about this a bit more, but at $1,100, this card probably would have cost you double that when draft debuted in late 2020. At high A, Garrett Mitchell hit .359 with 5 home runs and 92 at-bats. And what I liked most about his high A stats was he had 28 walks and 30 strikeouts, meaning he was taking his time, he felt comfortable. But when he moved to AA Biloxi, his strikeout to walk ratio doubled. He was striking out twice as much as he walked. And, that tells me a guy is trying too hard. A lot of guys still like Mitchell, but his prices have come down. So an orange at $1,100, I am super duper happy. Welcome back. So that was a little stat heavy. I'll admit that. But I think it's super important to explain to you viewers why I like a certain player or why I'm willing to spend X number of dollars on them. Investing or speculating cannot be rooted in guessing. You have to know why you're buying a player's card. So when he does have a bad week or a bad month or, God forbid, a bad season, you're not panicking and rushing to sell. You have your reasons you bought the card and can revisit those if you choose to. Also, I'm sure many of you noticed the reason I picked up a lot of these guys is they're not 2021 draft guys. Given that the product is so new and prices are so high, I'm not interested in buying those players just yet. I like a lot of them. You've probably seen me talk about them and who I'll chase, but if I pay up right now, as prices tend to be inflated when a product first releases, it means the amount of money I can make is really kind of capped. Instead, and I think I heard it best from my friend Just Bowman on Instagram when he said, buy 21 Chrome guys now. And that was just a few days ago, and it's so true. There are some real bargains to be had. For one, last year's players have larger sample sizes, meaning they've been a pro longer, making it easier to form an opinion of future performance. Second, and perhaps most important, the cards from, say, 2020 draft aren't shiny and new, and that means lower prices. So I'm enjoying shopping the players who are from 2019 and 2020. I'll give the example of Garrett Mitchell again, who you saw. His orange probably would have run $2,000 raw following 20 drafts release. And now, with Garrett having 200 ABs or so and a better idea of him as a pro, you get it for literally half that, and it's graded. It's true for 21 Chrome guys too. People were hot for guys like Shaylen Polanco just a few months ago. He's a top 10 international prospect for the Pirates, and still is. And now his prices are down. Why? Nothing has really changed, at least nothing I'm aware of, except that there is a new product out, and 2021 Bowman Chrome is slightly dated. And that can be said about so many players in that set, not just Shaylen. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today's episode, and I'm grateful you're along for the ride. Remember to share this episode if the content is relevant in your collecting universe, and that anything I say on this channel is strictly my opinion and should not be considered advice in any way. I share these cards and ideas with you to potentially help you make better choices as a sports card lover and investor. You guys have an amazing week.